guys, this is Bhavna and you're watching India Today. I'm very happy to be joined by the cast of The Night Manager here on India Today. A huge welcome, all of you.
Thank you.
Aditya, Shobita and Anil sir. A huge welcome. I'm really very happy to see you all. But I have to start with you first, Anil sir. I mean, you know, the trajectory that we see, the body of work that we have been seeing from you especially, the way you're experimenting with different kind of roles. Do you think that you are in the most exciting phase of your career in the last 3 or 4 years? Because this is the time where we see you play all sort of exciting characters, which perhaps was not possible earlier for sure.
So I've been very fortunate that from the time I started my career, that I've been, you know, sometimes the filmmakers chose me, sometimes I chose the kind of roles. So I was always, but obviously it was not in a row. So sometimes what I used to actually do 2, 3 films, which I had to do it, and then 1 or 2 of the films, like for the time I started my career. But now in the last 4, 5 years, yeah, definitely for 6, 7, 8 years, I've done some really exciting work, yeah.
Yeah, with The Night Manager especially, what was, I mean, I heard you at the press conference, you said that it was a very challenging role and that's why you were sort of, you know, you wanted to do it. But on the first read, when you know that this is also an adaptation of something which has been done earlier, what was the first thought that came to you?
Yeah, first of all, when they approached me for the show, obviously I had not seen it. So I just saw the first episode. And I was not there in the first episode at all, you know.
Very good one.
Yeah. So, and I said, yes, I'm doing it. So I did say yes. And then, of course, jokes aside, but, you know, the show was so, the show was so good and the story. And then, and more than anything else, I think I wanted to hear the adaptation.
Right.
How they have adapted it in
the Indian setting.
Indian setting. So then Sridhar Raghavan and the showrunner and director Sandeep and the dialogue writer, all 3 of them came on and narrated me. So I heard it in 2 sessions,
right?
4 episodes and 3 episodes, and I just loved it. I said, no, let me forget about it because I've just seen the first episode, and now let me hear the whole in one go. And I just forgot everything, the book, the adaptation, because I'd read a lot, the reviews and how, you know, because I'd heard about it, that youngsters and people all over the world, internationally also, and India also, there's a lot of people who really, you know, see, they love the, you know.
It's one of the most celebrated shows for sure,
and so I, to a certain extent, but what I felt, one more thing was, in a good way, that overall the masses and the people who really consume had not seen the show.
Right.
It was very niche, 0.5% or 0.1% had seen the manager. So that also gave me a kind of a positivity that people have heard about it, but nobody's really seen it.
Right.
Only in the few film industry and the trade and people who see international constantly keep on, they had heard about the show and they'd seen it.
Right.
I had not seen it, imagine. So imagine, so it was not that kind of a show that everyone had seen it. It was not like Games of Thrones or Friends, you know, that everybody has seen it.
Yeah.
It's something which has come, and obviously it was adapted of the book.
Right.
And then I heard the Indian adaptation, and I liked it a lot. And then I liked the people who are around it. And of course, I was very, very, Aditya was not on board that time. And,
so you wanted to do
it. So I was very worried who's going to play the lead. You know, who's going to play the night manager. And then obviously they had a few names. And then, of course, fortunately for me, he was my first choice, to be honest with you. I'm not that I had any decision making, but heart of heart, I couldn't say it, but that's what I felt. Aditya would be the right choice for this. Nobody else has that kind of earnestness. You know, would be able to pull this role. Besides performing, there are certain appearances, the physicality, because he's playing a kind of a spy.
Yeah.
And you have to have that kind of presence. You know, he's not Bond, but somewhere a different kind of a Bond in this film.
Yeah, that's actually a very good compliment coming from you.
Yeah. So and then of course I said, who's playing the girl? That's going to be the tricky casting. That's going to be the tricky casting. You know, who's going to, you know, because Elizabeth, how do you pronounce her? Debbie Key. She's terrific in the show.
Fantastic.
And then she's terrific. And I said, who in India can do this?
Yeah.
And of course, there were
Few names
were there. And then
and was she your first choice as well in those?
everybody's first choice. Everyone's
मतलब
first
अनिल
choice.
सर को पूछ के casting हुई हुई है.
Yeah. No, everyone's first. No, you know, they obviously being.
No, of course. I mean, it's the right. I mean, when I
like
first saw the trailer,
with the-
I thought everyone suited
No,
their
to a
character.
certain extent, I think somewhere it's not because it's not that I've done a show earlier, 24. I have an experience of what shows are and what is this long format.
Yeah.
I've done some mistakes. I've done some things right when I did 24. So I wanted to share my experiences, what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
And whatever they want to listen, they listen. They don't want to listen, they don't listen. ऐसा मैं बोलूँगा, जो आपको सुनना सुनो, नहीं सुनना मत सुनो. So that's the way things started rolling, and we had a wonderful time, I think, doing this show. And
it was lovely. I mean, from whatever the camaraderie that I've seen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Aditya, now I want to come to you because, in the films that you've done earlier, this is your OTT debut for sure. But apart from that, I feel this is also the first time we are seeing you in a very different role where you're actually getting to showcase your acting prowess. Like for the longest time, when we look at Aditya, yes, we talk about your body, we talk about your looks. I mean, when I say I mean the audience. But acting, finally, I think after the trailer, I saw comments where people are like, finally we see Aditya in a very meteor, good role where he can really showcase his acting skills. Was that one of the reasons why you said yes?
I think it's a great part. There's no doubt about it. I was actually one of those people that hadn't seen the show. So when I finally got down to watching it, what really struck me about it was what a lovely graph the character has, and the opportunity to play it was very exciting. So yeah, I think that's another reason I wanted to kind of explore doing a series as well.
Yeah.
Because as an actor, you get to spend more time with your character. You get to explore it in more, you could say, because you just, by virtue of shooting more and having more things to do. So yeah, it's definitely been a very fulfilling part to play, and complex and fun. But for sure, I think like Anil sir was saying, we had a great time on the set, and Sandeep is such a clear director and really a director's actor. I think for him, performance is paramount, and he would go out of his way to make sure that the actors are comfortable, and simple things about like fighting for your eyeline. I haven't seen a director fight for clearing people out of my eyeline ever before.
For you, we had to clear lots of things. Very anally. So.
Hey, no, it's not that bad.
You're
not
very
that
anal.
bad. Yeah.
You're very anal. The stylist would go, collar that are
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I said, जरा बाल जरा. This hair is.
Yeah.
I said, यार, चुप. मेरा तो कोई देख ही नहीं रहा.
सर आपका तो सेट है. मेरे पे ध्यान देना पड़ता है. No, but for sure, it's a great part, and I'm really happy I got to play it.
Yeah, and I think everyone else is also very happy. I know of people who are your biggest fans and they're so happy to like see you in a very different role this time. But Shobita, for you, because I know comparisons will be made eventually, though it's an adaptation, but like he said, it's a heavy, the character, I mean, there will be people who have watched the show and they will make, because social media is a free space, you will have people talking. So what was your process like to get the character right, so that even though whenever the comparison happens, it happens for good reasons?
I don't think I can do anything outside of the character to influence the comparison, because by default, because it's an adaptation of that project, so I feel like that those comparisons may be there, but I don't think that has been a part of my mental space at all. My character, although there are many points that are quite similar to the original, the essence of Kaveri, my character, it seems a little different from that of the original. So I did not feel the comparison. So I focused on just doing.
Were there workshops that you all did to get into the skin of your character, to understand the notes of your character well?
I've had a couple of interactions with Anil sir, because it's a it's a tricky dynamic. So I think just to for Sandeep also to assess the kind of chemistry we'd have as two individuals. So those were really fun. He's very geeky as an actor. So that's something I really enjoyed, because I would like to believe I am too. So there was a certain comfort in knowing that here's someone who comes with a lot of homework.
Right.
So I can always draw from his learnings.
That's wonderful, actually. I mean, Anil sir, for you as well, because this is also the first time you are playing a very out and out negative character, which a lot of actors for the longest time have refrained from doing because of, I mean, you want to live up to a certain image that audience have of you. Was it difficult to even take that first step and say that, okay, I want to play an out and out, like, villainous character in a show?
So once you see the show, you'll understand why they casted me and what is the reason these things, apprehensions were not there. So I will not be able to really put it in words unless you really see the show. Then we can have a longer conversation on this. But yes, of course, I should. What's life? And at this stage of my career, if I don't take chances, when do I take? And when I'm given this opportunity, and people are ready to, the young directors, the young filmmakers, and executives and studio owners are ready to experiment and risk their money. Me doing those kind of roles, why should I not grab them with both hands? Ultimately, it's all about money, and nobody's going to really, want to experiment taking someone who might not be the right choice.
Yeah. Agree. And I'm glad that you said yes to it, because it's refreshing to see you in that role for sure. But I think the most complex character is Aditya's character, the night manager, because he's trying to dabble, and there's a certain mystery and around that character. What was your process like to get into that headspace, to be able to pull off those different dynamics of a character?
I think it's as much time as you can spend with the script and just reading it and kind of analyzing it. That's pretty much what it is, the role required a few. I think one of the perks of the job is you get to do roles where you have to learn a profession or something new or a skill. So in this case, there was one aspect where I had to play a manager of a hotel, right? And that's a highly trained job. And professionals do that job. So I got the chance to shadow a manager for a couple of days and learn the ways. And because there's a certain disposition, there's certain do's and don'ts and manner of speaking and stuff. So that was fun to do. I got to learn a lot. And apart from that, it's all in the writing, it's all there. And when something is so rich and so well written, as an actor, you don't have to work too hard. It's all there for you. The clues are all there to find. So I was really fortunate to have the material like that to kind of draw from.
Lovely. Anil sir's energy on set is infectious. Wherever he goes, I think he spreads that infectious energy. What was it like on the night manager set? Having him around, having his energy around, because he's the youngest of all.
No, I think it's invaluable. I mean, there's it's for everyone. For I think everyone involved. So inspiring and always kind of there. You feel like there's someone you feel like the whole thing is being taken care of, because just the perspective that Anil sir has and how much he cares actually, more than anything, one can be experienced and all the rest of it, but so actually cares about the project, that it's going well, that things should happen well, that everyone should do well, and I think that was an invaluable thing to have.
What about you, Shobita? What was it like to have, because most of your workshops or readings also happened with him, and then on set also most of the dynamic and equation was with Anil sir's character, right? What was that like for you?
There's something about Anil sir which I've admired for a long time, and I got to witness that on set. We'd first interacted for a project of his, AK versus AK. I remember being blown away by the fact that despite having a career where he's accomplished so much, seen such a variety of everything, and to still have the zeal of a newcomer, to sort of want to push himself and not be afraid to go wrong, but push we must. That spirit, I think, is remarkable, especially when you're accomplished. And to see that on set, I think he was the energy bomb.
We've heard this so many times, Anil sir, but I really want to ask, where does this motivation to take that risk or to experiment or to have that newfound energy every time, where does that come from?
I just love my work. Yeah. I just love my work. And then what happens is it becomes even more exciting when the right people are there on the set, the right actors, the right director, the right content. So then it becomes even more naturally.
Right.
When sometimes what happens, you get stuck in a situation, because then you do your job to your best of your ability and capabilities, but definitely it's not the same.
Yeah.
But what happens is that why there was this kind of an energy, and is because I just felt the casting has gone right, the content is good, the producers are good, the platform was perfect, and I said, I can't let this opportunity go.
Yeah.
I have to, not only me, I have to see to it in my own mind. And obviously I cannot interfere as much. I have to draw a line. But in my mind, I just was praying that everybody should be brilliant in the show. Because what happens is still everybody is not brilliant, no matter how good you are.
Right.
It's not going to make any difference.
I agree.
It'll just, people will care about the show. I promise you. It's happened to me in my past, where where things have gone completely right where I am concerned, but things were completely wrong where others are concerned.
Right.
But it just doesn't go right. It's like, for example, AK versus AK. I'm being given an example. If Anurag is not there in that film, or whatever the smaller cameos, even Harsh to certain extent, and the casting, everything, if it was not right, it would not be the same.
Yeah.
It cannot work. Or a Ram Lakhan, or any of my films, or a Slumdog Millionaire, just whatever comes, or Dil Dhadakne Do. Imagine Dil Dhadakne Do if Ranveer was not there.
I cannot imagine Dil Dhadakne Do without that cast.
If Shefali wasn't there, if Priyanka wasn't there, if Anushka was not there, all the other smaller cameos which everybody did, the writing, the music.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons that things, including a Jug Jug Jio, I cannot do what I have to do unless I get that kind of timing with Varun. I cannot get it. I can't do that scene.
Yeah.
It's Jugalbandi. It's when you create something, you need everybody to तालमेल होना चाहिए ना, कैसे करेंगे?
और इस शो में वो तालमेल दिख रहा है ट्रेलर में.
आप देखिए शो,
तो
आप बताइए हमें कैसा लगा आपको
शो में कितना तालमेल है, but ट्रेलर में तो दिख रहा है. I think trailer is the first point, right? Like we are sold with the trailer for sure.
Yeah.
Because the chemistry, the camaraderie on screen looks like it is something that
you see, everybody who comes to promote their film or their show, obviously they are going to say that, But yes, of course, it's there for you all to see it, including if it is that's on screen. You've seen it. The trailer, I'm sure you must have seen it not once, but you must have seen it quite a few. I've seen it many times.
Yeah, you have to. I mean,
it still holds.
Yeah.
And it has its own pace. It has got its own rhythm. And yes, it is a bit slightly, of course, it is the pitching and the storytelling is definitely progressive.
Right. Okay. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm anyway
it
sold
is-
with the
it is-
trailer.
It is the total. The thing is, it's, I think somewhere I feel, I might be wrong, but it is it sounds like there's a villain and there's a hero, and Bond, and there's a girl. There's a dynamics between a young. She's attracted to the young guy. She's attracted to this guy who's slightly older, and that whole three dynamics and these things, these kind of stories. But the storytelling, the way it has been pitched, the way it is performed, is something which I think you will be able to connect more.
So I'm really
especially
looking forward.
on a OTT platform.
Yeah, and when is it releasing again?
17th
of February. So I'm marking my calendars for 17th of February.
Yeah.
I'm binge watching it, and I'm sure everyone else is going to binge watch it.
Thank you so much.
But now I also want to ask you, because of course OTT, and I mean for the longest time we are having this conversation about OTT and films and one platform taking over the other. Thankfully now I think it's subsided and I won't go into that. But I also want to know, now films are again like doing well in the theaters, starting with Pathaan. We all are very happy with the numbers that the film is doing. what do you have to say, given that in the past 6 months or 1 year, we have heard a lot about Bollywood, and there was certain criticism and cynicism that were raised that has been shut now. How do you view that?
It's, I'll tell you what, I've been in this business in a way since more than 4 decades, and it's been kind of a family business. To technically, since about 5-6 years old, I've heard, seen films, people talking about films doing well, all those kind of things, and I've gone through it. So there will always be certain hurdles in any business, any show business, anything what you do. There are going to be there. There will be ups and downs. There'll sometimes a year the stock will go up, stock will come down. Sometimes the hindrances and the handicaps and will be more. Certain businesses will suffer.
Right.
Certain businesses will come up, and then they bounce back. This is part of life. I'm the wrong person to ask. If people ask me this question.
But single screens have also revived, by the way. I think that
it's
is
not that. You give them that right film, it has to.
Yeah.
There's no two ways. You have to give a good film. You have to give an entertaining film with the right people, the right casting. Everything has to go right. Matter of fact, Pathaan, before it could release, the first teaser was released, and people loved the teaser.
Yeah.
Then the song came. People loved the song. Then the trailer came. People loved the trailer. I'm not going to pick up the phone. Why did I pick up the phone and speak to everybody? Yeah. There are these same actors, the same filmmakers. Films have released in the past, but I've not picked up the phone. And at that time, there was all kind of negativity or whatever you say. But I liked what I saw. I wanted to go and see the film.
Yeah.
Simple. See all these things, and the universe is there to make it in a bigger and a bigger hit. There are other aspects also.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it has to be a good film. Ultimately, it has to be an entertaining film. You give them what they want, and people are going to go and watch it.
Yes.
So you just work harder to make those kind of films, and you think, and you make you judge, okay, this is for OTT, and this is for the theatre.
Right.
This is a content which I will do it. Even if it's a big action film, I feel no. Still, I feel make an extraction kind of a big, massive action film for a platform.
Yeah.
Don't go to the theatres. But that, you cannot be delusional in your thinking.
Right.
You have to be sensible to understand and take the right calls at the right time. We all will make mistakes. I have done mistakes. So why shouldn't the others make mistakes? So we all are thrilled that the film has done great, and we are doing this interview after the release also. So there are only positive questions for us. So I'm thrilled that people are looking at us differently. So I'm happy. So our time bhi theek hai, matlab. Things. It's all fate.
Yeah.
Correct time पे OTT की picture आ गई. और एक है उसे correct time पे आ गई.
ताकि सारे negative questions eliminate हो गए अपने आप.
So
what did you do after that?
It's universe. People, suddenly now he's looking handsomest guy. She's looking beautiful. I'm looking good.
Very awesome.
You're looking.
Life is good.
Life is
What
good.
do you two have to add to this? Have you all watched Pathaan, by the way? What do you think?
Haven't so far.
Okay.
I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have watched it, so
how is it?
I've said for both of them. So,
Yeah, he spoke so well.
Definitely. Yeah.
so we can talk about night manager.
No, so I have a small thing. So basically,
No,
because we
fine.
are talking about the night manager, I have a quick rapid fire here actually. If you had to name anyone from Bollywood to be a
Can I have a
manager
glass of
for
water,
these
please?
things for you all, who would they be?
Garam pani, yeah?
Who would they be, okay?
Sorry?
So I'm going to give you, for example, your wardrobe manager. So you have to tell me who from the industry do you think can be a good manager?
For what?
I mean, just like if you had to choose someone from the industry to be your wardrobe manager. Who
Wardrobe manager.
Yeah. Like I have like three. Yeah, just like I have 3-4 like questions like that. Yeah, and you can just like.
Please go ahead.
Come on.
Now
Okay.
you ask both of them because
So-
I've answered quite a bit.
Thank you so much.